Third year.
They actually work you man too much.
I put on like 30, I put on 20 years. No, but you had 45 pages, I had to write 75 pages.
Shit.
I mean, nobody else in my family had been to uni.
I look back when I started first year, and I look at me now, I feel like I've changed so much, gone through so many experiences. I went to a state school in the poor part of East London.
I think I kind of wasted a lot of opportunities. I'd probably say in my first year, that's most of what I did.
I googled and I said, what job pays the best? Chemical engineering was at the top.
At the end of the day, you're paying £9 grand or something.
It's a lot of money. So, one thing I really struggled with.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing okay? How's your day been?
Been busy, been moving house.
Just came from London.
You from London? Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing currently?
I'm the sports officer for the guild. So I graduated last year, and now my job is to represent all the students here, everything when it comes to sport, to make sure that our sports offer is basically as good as it can be.
Okay.
I just finished my degree, so I was in chemical engineering, masters. Yeah, just about survived. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Cool. So how have you guys found uni so far?
Roller coaster, man. Roller coaster.
Roller coaster.
Yeah.
How so?
Crazy. I look back when I started first year, and I look at me now, and I feel like I've changed so much, gone through so many experiences. It's been crazy. It's been a enjoyable ride though.
Okay.
It's been good.
By yourself?
Yeah, really good. On top of that, it really changes you as a person. I'd say in my first year, I'm so different compared to what I am now. So I'd be really nervous in first year, and now I'm kind of got my picture on the walls everywhere. Yeah, it definitely changes you.
Okay.
Definitely, I agree. I don't have my pictures on the walls though.
You don't want to.
Soon
If I
come.
look like you,
Okay, that's cool. So how was that going from GCSEs for you guys to sixth form?
GCSEs to sixth form, I don't think was a huge jump, because you're still very much spoon-fed. Your teachers will set you homework, you do your homework. It's just a bit of a step up in terms of how hard the content is. It's not too bad, to be honest.
Yeah, same with me really. I think GCSEs they run it quite well in my school, so we had good resources and stuff. But when I went to A-level, the resources weren't as good. Teachers didn't know the content as well, so I think it was more of a battle trying to learn it ourselves, well, at my school anyway. So yeah, it was a bit of a jump, but not a massive jump. It wasn't something that killed me. That makes sense.
And what made you, I guess, in sixth form then choose Chem Eng and for yourself sports science?
I've always been really sporty and enjoyed science. They were two of my strongest subjects. Thought I was quite good at it. Everything else I wasn't so good at, so I was like, may as well do some of what I can do. And then I really like Birmingham, so got friends in Birmingham, got relatives in Birmingham, so that's what made me choose here.
I'm not gonna lie, mine's really bad actually. I googled my A-levels, so I googled maths, physics and chemistry, and I said what job pays the best, and chemical engineering was at the top, and I said, you know what, it sounds okay, so I picked it. I picked Birmingham more because my cousin, she did dentistry here. She said that she really enjoyed it, and also I'm from quite a ethnic town, so I wanted to be somewhere where I didn't want to be in London. I wanted to experience a different city. I wanted to move out, and I wanted to be somewhere that was quite ethnic as well. So I chose the University of Birmingham.
Yeah, so that's good. So, but do you regret your decision at this point?
No, I don't. I didn't say I don't say I enjoyed my course, but I didn't hate my course. I didn't love it, but I think it was a great course to challenge me, and academically it really pushes you, and I'm glad I did it. But the way I chose it, I wouldn't recommend anyone to choose it that way. Go back to your research, because if I had hated it, it would just spoil my university experience. So don't do what I did, but...
How would you have wished that you would have...
I wish I kind of looked into more options rather than pay, because it's funny now I'm not money motivated. I want to work in a job I get satisfaction out of, and money's obviously I want to get paid so I'm comfortable, but I'm not going to chase money. So I just would have looked at what else you can do, like with A levels, like maths, chemistry, and physics. There's so many different roles you can go into. So just you've got so much time. Just take your time, research, look around, and don't be rushed into making a decision at the first thing that looks good. So yeah, if I could go back, I would have had a look, maybe looked at more options and gone into a bit more detail. And maybe I would have picked something else, but I'm happy with my choice. Like, I was lucky.
Yeah, I don't regret my decision at all. I remember kind of going around to lots of different open days. I think my parents were kind of sick of being my taxi. I think there was about 12 different units, and you just kind of get a vibe of a place.
Yeah.
So there were some places where we was literally there for about 45 minutes at most, and I was like, no, it's not a place I want to be. And then even the first open day I went to, I was like, oh my god, like, this is the best place ever, I'm definitely going to pick this place. And then you go to another few places and like, wow, like, that's even better, and you kind of like can make up your mind then. But I don't know, for here, like, we've got really good sports facilities. At the time, it was the top uni for sports science, and it was a bit of a no-brainer for me. I definitely don't regret it.
It's important, I think, especially if you're moving to a different city or a different place. You're going to be there for most of the next 3 years, and it's lonely sometimes. You don't know anyone. You have to make friends. It's something that you don't really experience, because when you go to school, you know your people from when you're young, and it's easier to make friends, I think, when you're younger. So just make sure that when you're there, you feel comfortable, you like the facilities, like Simon said, and just don't always go and visit. Don't just like look at a place and say, oh, it looks cool, I'm gonna go try. Just go and visit, have a feel. I went with some friends, and it was good. Like Simon, as soon as I got here, I felt at home in my department. I felt like I'm comfortable, and this is somewhere I can see myself. So make sure you can see yourself there. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I'll say it's not even just for uni that you've got to look at. Like, we've got the whole city here.
Yeah.
So like part of our day we went into Birmingham City Centre, really like the city centre as well. So it's not just campus itself, it's a lot kind of wider than that.
100%, yeah.
Okay. So, thinking of how you guys gone through uni, is there anything that you wish you would have known earlier than when you did?
So, one thing that I really struggled with was when I was in school, I was top of my class, I say. Like, I went to a state school in a poor part of East London, so I'm not saying the standard wasn't high, but it wasn't a school filled with academics, basically. So I did quite well. But as soon as I came to university and I looked around, I really felt like I was not academically there. And I struggled with that, because when you go from being someone who can understand everything and you're answering questions to someone who's like, I don't know what's going on, and everyone else seems like they're going on, they know what's happening, that was a struggle. But the fact that you're there and the fact that you got the place means you're capable. And so my biggest advice is, when you go, don't focus on anyone else, just focus on yourself, and don't compare yourself to other people, because by the end of first year you realise that just because you didn't go to as good of a school, or just because you didn't come in knowing the same amount of things, you're not inferior in any way. So yeah, that's probably my biggest advice. Just focus on your own journey.
I'd say biggest advice would be, don't think that uni is just studying and drinking alcohol. Yeah. I'd probably say in my first year, that's most of what I did was study in the daytime, and in the evenings kind of go out with mates and stuff. And I think, although I enjoyed it a lot, I think I kind of wasted a lot of opportunities. Yeah. And I kind of really changed a lot in my second year, where I started to kind of take a lot more on other than just studying and going out, so being parts of like societies and sports, and then that's how you kind of get to know a lot wider community. Like, it's all very well that you can kind of go out with your flatmates and you've got that like the tight group of people, but like uni is such a good opportunity to meet so many people from different backgrounds, different cultures, which like being part of a sport or society kind of gives you that opportunity, and just to kind of throw yourself in there. Like, so I ran to be club president of table tennis, and then kind of since then that opens a door, then another door opens. It's so cliche, but it's very much kind of how one thing leads to another. So just kind of don't hold back, just go for every opportunity I can.
It's true, man. You never get opportunities like you do at uni. You never do, I don't think. So like Sam says, you just got to make the most of everything, try something. So, and also, like, I think especially in first year, it's important to have a balance as well. Like, a lot of people do go out a lot and they study a lot, and you can do that, I say, in first year, but just as long as you maintain a balance, because if you do one or the other too much, I think your experience becomes not enjoyable after time. Like, I know people that went out all the time and did no studying, and so towards their tail end of the year they were miserable because they didn't know what was going on. I know people that studied so much, and by the end of it they regret all the times they didn't go and enjoy themselves and stuff. First year for most of the degrees are just to almost ease you into what you're doing. So it's a step up, but it's not a crazy step up. So use it just to do everything. Like, don't just do one thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think as well with first year, like, lots of people would be kind of saying in your ear, like, like, you've only got to pass first year,
Yeah.
and then because of that you can end up wasting it. 100%. Like, yeah, definitely enjoy yourself, go out and do what you want, but don't waste your education as well, because like I could have learned so much more than what I actually did in my first year, and at the end of the day you're paying £9,000 as well. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but you're actually paying for it.
Now we know how much we have to pay.
A month ago,
yeah, just don't waste it.
So if kids now, well, this is what, in like a couple of months are going to go into results day, A-level and GCSE. So what piece of advice if you could give them, would you give them?
Your results don't define you. At 18, 19, you're so young, you don't realise. And there's a lot of pressure at that age, because you'll see all of your friends going to university, you'll see, you might not get what you want on the day, but they don't define you, you know. Take your time out. Even if you go to uni a year later, even if you think maybe further education is not for you and you want to go down the apprenticeship route, you've got time. So just don't let your results define you. Don't feel like because you haven't done as well as you wanted and you maybe didn't get into universities you wanted, your life's not over, you know. You've got so much time to progress. So that's my biggest advice.
Yeah, I'll say there's other stuff that's a lot more valuable than a qualification. So I didn't even get the grades that I actually needed to get into Birmingham. But the reason that I got in was because of my volunteering work that I did in sport before, which luckily got me in unconditional. But that just kind of speaks volumes about how extra stuff you do, other than just kind of like GCSEs, A-levels, your degree, can kind of open pathways for you. So yeah, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for the other stuff that I've been doing. So don't worry about not getting a grade you want. Like, there'll kind of always be like an option for you to go into.
And that's so true for like when you're working as well. Most of the jobs don't even ask you to get the highest grades. They want to know how you are as a person. And like Sam said, when you put yourself in all of these opportunities and you do all this stuff, you become way more rounded and way more attractive to an employer. So yeah.
And in you guys' opinion, do you think that something like this is important, and why?
What do you mean?
In terms of like sharing knowledge and essentially passing on like what we've known and what we've gone through to.
You're never alone, you know. Like, you're with other students who are going through exactly the same thing. So I think sharing knowledge and using for my course, if I didn't have the help from older years and other people, I would have been lost.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. So kind of at school, you're not really taught life lessons. You're taught how to measure an angle in a triangle, or I don't know, like write about mice and men, which like doesn't ultimately like mean anything. Where like there's so many kind of practical skills that it's kind of like important to know, and kind of advice going into uni I think is really useful. And I think as well for me, nobody else in my family had been to uni, so I didn't have anybody else to kind of speak to, ask about what university's like. So kind of to share knowledge and share like people's opinions, I think that's really good.
Okay. Is there anything else that guys like to add?
Good luck. Enjoy it. It goes so quick. Yeah. It flies by. Just make the most of every day and enjoy it. It's not nice.
Yeah, just have fun. Like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you don't end up going to uni, it's like I said before, there's so many different kind of opportunities out there to make you an employable person. So yeah.
Working is not as fun. No, it's not as fun.
Stress. All right, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, thank you, man. Just focusing on your journey.